Again, welcome. Really nice to see everyone. And so I'm going to read from chapter 3, the 22nd verse. O son of Pritha, or Arjuna, no further duty compels me. By the way, this is from the chapter. It's about action. Now I got myself in trouble. It is freedom through action. Let's see if I can scroll back now to 322. Freedom through action. So, this is the age we live in, infinite scrolling. Okay, O son of Pritha, no further duty compels me. There is no state left for me to attain, and nothing in the three worlds, material, astral, or causal, for me to gain. Yet I still work on for the upliftment of others. There, where all uplifting work is done, I am. And this one comes back to me again and again, just throughout life, that no further duty compels Krishna. There's no state left for him to attain. And so inside of ourselves, we might think, oh, I wish I could become this, or I wish I could accomplish this or this in life. And yet Krishna knows that he can do everything, that if he wants to be a big businessman, that he could do that. If he wanted to be a great doctor or an engineer or a beautiful musician or whatever, no problem. He could easily accomplish that, and he knows that. But then when I read this, I get something beyond that, that there's more than just he can accomplish whatever he wants to do in this world, that he also can achieve deep states of, say, inner peace, which, for some of us, we might be still struggling. Okay, I want this inner peace, and I know I want it, and where is it? And we somehow know that it is within us, but we are not yet perfect meditators. And so we're working on that as well. And yet even I think that Krishna, that he's achieved all of the mental states as well, that he knows that he is omnipresent in everything. Once Master said, when I don't like this world, that I just withdraw within and I go into the astral world. When I don't like that world, I just go into the causal world. When I don't like that, I go beyond all of them. And that obviously is an amazing state to achieve. And so we're all down here stuck on planet Earth because we have desires that have to be fulfilled in this world. And so the big question for us is how? How can we become like Krishna? And in today's chapter, and this is throughout the Gita, that we have to do right action. And elsewhere in the Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna, he says, I'm confused. You tell me that I should act, but I should not act, that I should meditate. What should I do? And Krishna again and again says that we all have to act, that we are deluding ourselves if we think we can just sit here and somehow get into this state that Krishna's in, where, oh, I don't have any more duties and I'm just free and I know everything, so don't bother me anymore. That would just be an affirmation that's not true. And, once in Ananda village, a friend of mine said, if you want to meditate more, serve more. If you want to serve more, meditate more. And I thought, this guy's crazy. I just met him. I thought, well, if I want to meditate more, why don't I just meditate more? What is he talking about? But as I grew in the spiritual path, I realized that when I serve too much, that then I feel a little out of balance and I need a little more meditation. If I sit there and meditate too much, that I'm just thinking in my head anyways, I need to go do this, and I'm trying to discipline my mind. But it is better sometimes to get up and just go do those things, of course, depending on what the things are. But we also learn in meditation on the spiritual path that we have to discipline our mind. But in my opinion, all of this, it has to be done through acting. So we all have desires, but we want to learn to refine our desires, to have good desires, like a desire to help other people is a very good desire. And this is certainly one way out of ego. In this same chapter, Krishna is talking about King Janaka, who found God through right action. I believe it says simply through right action that he managed to find God. And that becomes a very beautiful thing, that we can continually do right action. Now, in order to do right action, we have to be able to ask God, what is the action that you want to perform through me? And I think you all know this, that prayer is talking to God, and meditation is learning to listen to God. And we have to learn to listen to God, even in activity, even as we're doing this and doing that we can listen more deeply. And God, I was talking to someone who's a good leader. She used to be high up in Uber. And she said, as a leader, sometimes you only get 90% of the information. And you have to make a decision. And you want 100% of the information, but you realize that it's going to take you so much time to ask all these different people, and that you just have to act. And that you have to act based on intuition. And that we have to ask God, what's the right thing? And then do it. And very often we get paralyzed in life, and we think, oh, but I only have 90% of the information, and what if I do this wrong or that wrong? Once a different friend of mine said that, Swamiji, imagine this, that if there's a tree and this fellow was a gardener, if there's a tree and it only has one branch, and you go out there and you say, I'm going to prune it, but there's only one branch, or what do you cut that, and there's going to be 0 more leaves. But imagine there's this branch this way, this branch is all over the place. The gardener's happy with that. Then he can go and he can cut this one and cut that one and make a nice looking tree. And this friend of mine was saying about our own energy as well. Swamiji likes people who have energy, and it's okay. Some of it might be going this way, that way, but at least Swamiji then has something that he can work with. And he can say, okay, not so much in that direction, we're going upwards here, fine. And so the point of that is, don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's much better to act and to do in this world and make a mistake. It's all right. And then say, I'm going to put out more energy and try to fix that mistake and keep learning and keep growing. That we become old once we think, I don't want to make any more mistakes, and I don't know if I have the energy to fix this and fix that. And age isn't so much a number of years. It's an attitude of thinking that there is enough energy, that I can do this, I can do that. God, what do you want me to do today? When Swamiji was in his late 70s, he asked me to take his arm and to help him walk up the stairs. And I didn't know him that well at that time, and I just assumed, well, he's an old man, and sure, I'll help him, and I did that. But actually, going up the stairs, he started dragging me. Come on, let's go. And I realized he had more energy than I had, and I was maybe in my late 20s at that time or something like that. And I just thought, there's something more to this person. And the last few days, I've heard many people talk about Swamiji, and the one thing they've all said is how much energy Swamiji had, that he was a man of tremendous energy. And if we want to find God, we too have to be human beings of tremendous energy. Don't be afraid of it. Now, we can't just today decide that, great, I'm never going to sleep again. What will happen, we get all excited and then we'll crash, and we might go for 48 hours, but then we'll sleep for 48 hours and the whole thing will add up to 0 anyways. But just we can put out a little bit more energy, And yeah, we will crash a little bit sometimes, but it's all right as long as we have that desire to get back up and try again and look at ourselves and say, where did this go wrong? And a very important part in acting for God and finding freedom through action is not blaming others, not even blaming ourselves. Oh, I did this bad thing. I mean, we have to introspect and look and be honest with ourselves. But the most important question to ask ourselves is, where did my action go out of tune with what God wanted? And really listen, and listen on the inside, and ask God. And you can ask him in whatever way you want, and then listen. And then just keep conducting these God realization action experiments. And just keep getting out there and keep doing it and keep helping other people. And why is action a very valid and important way of God realization? If we're doing it with the thought of helping others, then we are helping our ego to become less and less. I love the way Jyotishji talks about self-realization, is that we are dissolving the ego into an ocean of infinite awareness and consciousness. Because so often we think of, okay, I have to do war with the ego, and I'm going to hit him once, and then he's going to hit me, and it's going to be this thing. But it's so much nicer to think that, oh, can I take right actions? Can I serve mankind? Can I serve this person and this person? And then the ego becomes less and less, and it starts to dissolve. Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to ask a rhetorical question, or tell a rhetorical story, actually, which was a doll made out of salt went to measure the depths of the ocean. And I just love that. And that's what's going on with our ego as well, that the more we decide that I want to serve and serve and serve even more, that then it will get to a point where sometimes we feel that I'm not even myself serving, that some other power is flowing through me. I don't know how many people here have ran a marathon, but they say that if you run and you hit what they call the wall, where you feel like you just can't run anymore. But if you decide, I signed up for this thing, I'm going to keep running anyways, that you get what is called a second wind, and some kind of grace, some kind of energy comes into your body, and you can keep going, and then you get runner's high. And I really believe there's actually a correlation between that and our spiritual path, especially that we know that we are beings of energy. And I'm not a doctor, this is my own opinion, that those runners, perhaps they burn all of the carbon out of their body, and now they're, instead of running on carbon in the physical way that we do, that they're running on pure energy, like we are taught to do with the energization exercises. Anyways, that's just a theory of mine. But you don't have to go run a marathon tomorrow. But we should all energize and learn to draw on that energy more and more and become channels for Master and push ourselves. I'm not asking you to become a marathon runner, but I am asking you to become a spiritual athlete and see what you can do outwardly to serve more and more and help. Adityaji told a beautiful story that Swamiji told him a few days ago, that that Swamiji asked him, that if Divine Mother, if you're ready to go to sleep and Divine Mother says, oh, but will you write this down for me? What do? You get out of bed and you write it, and then finally you get to go to sleep and it's 3 a.m. and Divine Mother, oh, but will you please just give this message? What do? You get up and you write it. And that story was very inspiring to me. And God knows what we need, that God won't push us too far, that God has not made this creation impossible. God has not made self-realization impossible. He's made it very difficult, and it looks very hard, and it looks impossible. But we have to have that courage, that strength, to put out a little bit more energy, to try to do things that we've never done before. And by the way, right action is not just only running marathons or whatever. It's when we're sitting there in this fear. Divine Mother, you just gave me this project. This is bigger than I am. I don't know what to do. Okay, well, Divine Mother gave it to us. And if she's the one who's given it to us, then we have to act. We have to do something. And when those little paralyzing moments come to me, I think, okay, Divine Mother, just show me where can I put one little step in front of the other. Ooh, the lifeline. Who can I call for help, at least on this? Who can give me some advice on what I should do about this or that? And then we just get the energy moving, call another person, take one small step, write one email, send one WhatsApp message, and just get energy flowing. And then we see the energy flow itself starts to take care of things. And because when we have more and more energy flow through us, more and more magnetism will flow through us. And then ultimately, we can do anything. We can become like the reading of Krishna, where he says, there's nothing left for me to attain. That he knows that he can do absolutely anything. And we too, we have to know that from our own experience. So let's put out the energy to do big things and to work together as a group to do big things. and to feel that we can do this or that, and that we can do it together. Because if we try to do God realization just on our own, if we run off into the mountains and try to just do a million kriyas or whatever the case may be, we might find that a little bit of inspiration is lacking. But if we decide that we will meditate as much as we can, if we decide that we'll show up for morning meditation not for ourselves, but to help the other person, to be an example, as Krishna is being an example here. Aditi also, one of his, I know a line that he likes in the Gita, Krishna says that what the higher beings do, the lower beings, they imitate that. And so we want to always be looking up at Swami Kriyananda, at the great ones, and we want to imitate them in all of the good things that they do. But then there are people who are not as evolved as we are spiritually also. We need to set a good example for them. We need to do the right thing, to do right action, to become the best person that we know how to become, and then push the limits again and push the limits again. And in doing that outwardly, we will realize that we are in touch with divine powers. And then we can use those divine powers to meditate deeply, to go within, and to become exactly who God wants us to become. And isn't it beautiful that God has a unique song to sing through each one of us? That it's not that we're just going to become exactly like Krishna, that we become like that on the inside, yet on the outside we get to sing a beautiful, beautiful song that no one else has ever sung and no one else ever will sing, because it's the song that God wants to sing through you, and that life can become so beautiful. And please don't doubt that God meant for this to be a beautiful ride, a beautiful show, just so joyful, so peaceful, so wonderful, so full of imagination and entertainment and joy. When I was a child, I was a very happy child. And that I just, wow, I can go have this experience and this experience, wow, wow. And then we grow older and we think, I don't want to go to the zoo anymore. No, I don't want to do that. And we're tired and we think, what happened? Where'd all the joy go? And it was so entertaining. It's not that the zoo is any less entertaining. It's that we don't have the energy anymore to enjoy the giraffe and see how beautiful the lion is and the hippopotamus. But we can find that energy again. And then we can use that energy and we can go to the zoo with the children and take them, and we can share in their joy. And we can become examples for everyone in this world for how much joy there is to be had. And why not? Why not? This is the only game in town. You might think the game is to become the biggest businessman or the best lawyer or this or that. Then you'll find, oh no. But if you remember that the game is to achieve God realization, is to become amazingly happy so that nothing can take that happiness away, to become a bundle of joyful energy and know that you have the power of the universe that wants to flow through you and accomplish great, great things, then you can do it, and you will do it. The only question is, when? Will you wait for tomorrow? Tomorrow never comes. Will you say, now? Now I make a decision that I will be a better human being, that I will be a more joyful human being, that I will be more in tune, that I will do greater and greater actions in this world for God and not for myself. When I do them for myself, no joy. But when I do them for God, that there's a great amount of joy. You can make that decision. I know we're all making that decision. And I'm just ending by sharing my gratitude that we're all in this together, that I just was meditating with a group of people 3 times a day. Nobody missed in that group. And everyone came to every single meditation. And it's that strength. It's that strength when we all do it together. That's what gives me strength and power and joy, knowing that we're all Guru Bhais together and that we're all doing this together. And I thank each one of you that also has that spark of willingness. I've already talked way too long, but I just have to finish with this story also. And that is, were spending time with Dhyanaji's friend Karpani from America. And she's a willing person. And someone asked her to bring over a statue, a big statue of Babaji from America. And the average person, oh, it's going to cost me $100 more on the plane or another suitcase. Find somebody else. But she said, I'm willing. She didn't even put it in a suitcase. She just carried the thing on. And there was 2 legs of her flight. And on the first leg, the seat was empty. There's Babaji, probably in a seatbelt, right next to her. Second leg of the flight, they say, oh, would you like an upgrade? Only $20 more. Sure, $20 more. It wasn't just, from economy to premium economy. It was all the way to the front of the plane, to first class. Why? Babaji wanted to fly first class. And so she had that second leg, all first class. Why? For Babaji. Why? Because she was willing. And that story just demonstrated to me, I want to be more willing to do God's will outwardly with my brothers and sisters, and to just keep helping everyone. And when I do that, I don't think, oh, poor me, I got this problem and that problem. I'm just thinking of others, and then in that, there's just so much joy. So again, thank you all. It's been just a great joy being with everyone in Pune. I've loved it, and I really look forward to coming here often, and the next time will be very soon. So we'll end now with an arati.